It's Mac Attack. O.O.C.E.M.R. Decision making is really just value clarification, guys. Pop. Let's take that acronym and let's take the acronym for this and understand it. To apply it as knowledge is only really potential power. So one is outcome. What is my outcome? Okay. If it's difficult for you, you likely have multiple outcomes. So start with what you're afraid of, right? So start not with what you're afraid of, but with what you want, right? And first, write them down. Second, place them in order. Third, write down the why. Because when you know how to be crystal clear on what you want, that's the vital part, as well as the order in which you want it in. And so now we can move on to number 2, options. What are your options? Okay, option number one option, let me just say, is no option, right? 2 is a dilemma. 3 makes it a choice. So write out all your options. Let's move on to 3, consequences. What are the consequences? What are the upsides? What's the downsides to each of the decisions to the best of my knowledge? By now, you've configured the first half, right? So now you know exactly what you want, right? And you know what your options are, and you know the upsides and downsides to each. All right. So now we're going to the last 3 stages. 4, evaluate, okay? Evaluate probability of the consequences, right? Of those consequences. So unless you evaluate probability, you're truly wasting your time. You might have something like, oh my God, what if this happens, right? It could be the worst thing on earth. That's going to upregulate the genes of stress. It's just going to make you stressed, okay? So evaluate the probability. You can't let those extremes hit you, guys, okay? You start to see by evaluating what's there. Focus. 5, mitigation. Means I've seen what I want, I know my options, I know what's probable, ups and downs, right? We weigh before we pay, right? So, now, could you take something from this option and mix it with this one? Stirring the ideas in the kettle pot, right? Is there a way to mitigate the downsides? And there almost always are, okay? At this stage, your brain gets really creative because it's not in fear, uncertainty, anxiety, right? Because you're not in your head, right? It's right in front of you. So let's move on to number 6, which is resolve. Means it's done. We all have a purpose. It's always purpose over performance. Stay tuned for my next video, and share, comment. I'm grateful for your time and energy. Now go master your Monday. Mac Attack out.